Good evening. This is Debbie Davis. It is April 29th, 2025. So I uploaded a video today of the sky here that was just the most clear sky I've ever seen in ever. So it was beautiful to see that. And then the other day I saw these really weird looking clouds. So I don't know, there's some things going on here. And I feel like there's definitely some shifts going on here, hopefully for the good. And so I wanted to mention something tonight that I thought was pretty interesting. When I was at the Conscious Life Expo, I saw this lady who did a speech about this, and I thought it was really interesting because it was very much about it was really very similar to spirituality, and it was the whole speech she did about the 12 traits of a Jedi. And so her name was Debbie Solaris, and so I think this generation might not know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the Jedi. It was like from the Star Wars or Star Trek days. And I was when I was listening to her speech, I was like, yeah, this really does tie in very much to spirituality. And so, it's like, because it's a universal, like, she was kind of just touching on like universal laws, that they really don't teach in church. But it really does tie into the same type of thing. So I thought I would just mention the 12 traits of a Jedi. And it's from the Star Wars video where they said, may the Force be with you and things like that. So, the core traits of a Jedi are resisting the dark side, using force for good, discipline, self-control, compassion, wisdom, love of learning, emotional control, desire to help others, cooperation with each other, trust, and intuition. So, I've had to use my intuition a lot with this whole whistleblower thing, and I've had to use self-control, I've had to use discipline, wisdom, all of that. So, but anyway, I think it's just a good reminder for everybody to think about these principles in what we're going through right now. And so, but yeah, I think there's definitely a shifting going on. I've still got some harassment happening, but it has gotten a lot better. I was talking to some people tonight, and it's hard for people to understand what I've personally been through, and how long the harassment has gone on. It's not like, because I was just talking to a Vietnam vet tonight, and I understand that, of course we understand that was a horrible war, and how awful it was, and of course why people would have PTSD coming back from that. But I got deployed in 2008, and I was in a really dangerous area, in Camp Bucca, where we had rockets coming in. We never knew if like a rocket was going to like lob into we were just in these like little trailers. It's not like, and there wasn't detections on the base yet. Later on, they ended up having detection systems on certain bases, but there wasn't in 2008 where I was at. But that's one thing. But then when I came back, came back from there, and I got that other job from, at the base where I became a whistleblower, then I got put on something called a targeted individual program, where I've been nonstop harassed for 13 years in various different ways. And so it's like constant triggering of my already existing PTSD. And that's what it's hard for people to understand. It's a constant trauma-based mind control program that that they've put me on. And it involves, you know, the Masons, the CIA. I've talked about this chart, and so if you can't ever, so it's like, it's different than, it's way worse than somebody that just had an experience with Vietnam. Mine has never stopped. My experience has never stopped in 13 years. It's constant trauma they're creating for me. They were either pulling me over, they were causing problems with courts, or they've broken into, I've had cameras and different things breaking into places I've stayed. It has been a constant, non-stop trauma-based mind control, trauma-based program for me. So that's what I was trying to explain to this Vietnam vet today, because there was, it was just, you try to explain, or people try to reach out and try to help you, and they don't. Well, and then the other thing, I've told this story too, is that because he was like, well, have you tried PTSD, something at the VA? Yeah, I've told this story. I've requested group therapy for PTSD, and they got rid of, for some reason, they got rid of like group therapy for PTSD. Like they never offered anything. I've been diagnosed with PTSD since 2013. I have a certain disability amount that I get. I've never once been offered any kind of therapy from the VA. So I don't know if other veterans are going through this, but they don't offer any programs for us. There was years ago, I was looking into something called, it was something cognitive, it was a certain approach to trauma that they were trying. And then all of a sudden that program disappeared. I forgot what they called it, but it was and then they were offering that at one time to some veterans, cognitive based something or other for trauma. And then all of a sudden that program went away. And then all the group therapy programs went away. They don't let us get together as a group anymore. And so, there was just this one time that I, tried to get some PTSD counseling from the Mesa Vet Center in Arizona. And it was like just an individual counseling, but it wasn't even a veteran, that was doing it. And so, so I never, basically, and so I just stopped going because it really wasn't helping. So basically, in all these years, I've never gotten any therapy at all, or any kind of programs to help with PTSD. So, I mean, is that really caring for your veterans? So that's kind of what I was trying to explain, is that, there's really nothing to help us with whatever the trauma we are going through. These programs that they were starting went away. And they don't let the group therapy went away, and the cognitive whatever program went away. So I think other veterans are probably going through the same thing. But anyway, that's kind of what I was trying to tell him tonight. And so, but yeah, and so, we know now that this program, that it's also targeting of a bloodline. Okay, it's because of my bloodline as well. And then on top of it, I became a whistleblower. Well, I didn't purposely become a whistleblower. I was an accidental witness to a crime at a military base. And if I wouldn't have if we wouldn't have said something, we could have been held accountable for a lot of missing money. So, nobody thinks about maybe the position that we were in as females working with these type of, in an environment like that. So, that's one thing that I tried to explain, but nobody wants to listen. Nobody purposely becomes a whistleblower. So anyway, I just wanted to mention these things tonight. And so may the force be with us. And hopefully things will continue to improve. But I do think the Pope dying is a significant, obviously a significant part of, because my understanding is the Vatican had the list of the bloodlines, and now with the Pope's death, that I believe that this is this is marked something that hopefully is becoming an end to this targeted individual program, because my understanding is the Vatican had the list of the bloodlines, the Illuminati bloodlines, the other bloodlines in King David. Okay, and they implemented this list, was implemented all the way at the highest levels of the Vatican, this targeted individual program. And, they've been tracking us apparently since birth in certain bloodlines. And I've been told this before, and I know that at the very top it was the Vatican. Okay, so this is hopefully a big, significant part of the end to this, the Pope's death. And, sorry to the people who are Catholic that, I'm not saying all Catholic people are, bad or anything like that. I've never personally been connected to the Catholic religion. But I know it's, in a lot of ways, some of them are very similar to the Christian religion. So, and, they used to be like intertwined. Now it's more separate. So, but yeah, so hopefully we're on the right path with that. And, okay.